Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Talkin' Shed podcast. Today, this morning, Cody, we've got a guest this morning. How do we get him here this early?
Well,
heck, it's 7:30.
I know. Well, heck, it's before that. It's 7:15. Jeez, I can't believe he's here either.
That's only because I got the group message last night that Cody was getting Dunkin', and I'm like, I'm not missing this opportunity.
Right.
This has never happened before.
I know, and neither has him being here at 7:15.
That's a good
Whatever.
point. I got to witness something today.
Something new every day.
It's awesome.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got some nice Dunkin' coffee, and we had to record early. Cody and I have a road trip adventure planned. We're going to head southeast, and some rain covered Ohio there over the weekend, and so I think it'd be a good day to go see farmers, visit with them, talk to them about their, fall residue management plans. Maybe they've got some planter jobs that they need worked on, but I think today's going to be a great day to catch some guys. So,
Yep.
I think we can make 20 stops today.
You think so?
Yes,
Huh?
we're gonna make 20 stops today.
That'd be good.
So,
That'd be really good.
Dave came in last night or yesterday afternoon, and so I said, Dave, you're not leaving without recording a podcast.
He's an awful lot like a farmer. He didn't call nobody, say that he was coming.
You mean a truck driver?
Yeah, a truck driver. He just shows up. So he just showed up, and he asked me where I was last night, and I was out seeing guys. What do you mean? What was I doing?
But one thing I learned yesterday, showing up unannounced, it put your dad in a good mood.
It did?
Like, he didn't have time to stew about, all right, what am I going to
yell at
Gunkelman for today?
Yeah.
So it was actually a pleasant afternoon here. We got a lot accomplished.
You better watch what you say. He listens to all
Does
this.
he?
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either.
I'm pretty sure he does.
No.
Yeah.
So no, it was a good afternoon to have a lot of one-on-one time with him, and it was pretty quiet here because you had a lot of guys on the road selling and guys on the road doing service work. So
Yep.
we got a lot of stuff accomplished. Got some more orders.
There you
Gotta
go.
put in.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
That's always the key. Show up unannounced and shock them into some orders.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully some 2200s.
Yes.
He tried to sneak some orders by him while Cody and Adam were gone.
Yeah, pretty
Yep.
much. Yep. And then we're going to have to overview them.
So then last night, you got to enjoy the Cowboys game.
I'll tell you what.
How'd that go? Are you a Cowboys fan?
I'm not.
Okay.
They say it's America's team, but that's a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I went to bed, and probably about after the first quarter, your dad took off to bed, and I swear for the next 2.5, 3 hours, all I heard was your mom out in the living room cheering on the Cowboys. There was a lot of swearing, I think, and a lot of cheering, so it wasn't the greatest night's sleep.
Yeah.
I had a few injuries last night as well.
Okay.
Them boys of yours showed up for a little while.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you talk about the cheap shots. If you're not looking, if you don't have your head on a swivel, and they're coming at you 20 mile an hour, buddy, it can hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Me and the boys were out the Groundhog Barn, and I stopped in, and Dave was there, and yeah, Dave kind of showed him that he was ready to wrestle a little bit, and that lit the fuse. And
Yep.
I think getting down on the floor, that's what that means. So now I know.
Yeah. So
it was a good time. Good seeing them.
Yeah. The boys roughed up Dave a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah. I took him bowling last night. I gave him the option. I said, we can either go fishing, we can go hunting, or we can go bowling. They wanted to go bowling.
No, I don't blame them because they knew if they went fishing or hunting, it wasn't going to last long. It's getting dark so early.
Right. Yeah. So we went bowling. That was fun. Luke bowled a 94.
Wow.
Which, I mean, obviously bumpers and stuff, but I'm telling you, he ain't bad.
It's better than Cody.
I know.
He's been bowling his whole life.
I know.
Grew up in a bowling alley.
Yeah. So yeah, it was good, and so now here we are. Dave, let's take it back to obviously things have been good the last couple months with Salford. We've been really pushing the new VRT and a lot of the things that thing can bring to us. Let's rewind it all the way back to Farm Progress. We've talked about how shows are maybe kind of iffy, and now you can go there with a tool that any farmer that walks up, whether he's got that ground that changes every 10 feet or just flat black, you've got something that you can put in his toolbox.
Yeah, it's been fun working the farm shows since we introduced this tool back, what would have been in Louisville 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, Farm Progress got an opportunity to work that this year. It's the first time I've worked that show in probably 20 years. And I was impressed. It was really good. And there was so much talk on the VRT.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's now anybody that walks on our lot, it'll work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's, we always had tools that are specialty type tools, not the big box store type tools. And this just is great. This just fits in and covers such a wide variety of tillage options all in one tool.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll talk about some success we've had with it here in a little bit. But then, then we had Farm Science in September.
Yep.
And I think it was a reflection of Farm Progress. I mean, I think that was a great show as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I tell you, the farm show, it seems like the trend's been downward, but this last year, Farm Science followed right in the tracks of the busy crowd at Farm Progress, and there was so much interest at Farm Science and back to Farm Progress. We retailed a lead out of there, just you and I.
Yep.
Guy that I talked to that I gave him your number, and you guys hooked up, did a demo, and boom, got the deal done. And he's very happy. But yeah, Farm Science was really good. I'd say the crowd was down, but numbers don't mean anything to us. Working the show, it's the quality,
right?
And the quality was there.
Yeah.
It's we have a lot of work to do yet. Getting demos done. There's so much interest in tools. Not only the VRT, but it seems like you have a lot of interest in the 12s and 2200s.
Oh yeah.
And 5200.
Yes.
So I mean that's been hot as well. That was really hot at Farm Progress as well. The 5200.
Yeah. What is it that you think that makes the 5200 up there with the VRT?
I think it's just because it's the only primary tillage tool on the market, I feel, that will just go out there and destroy everything. No matter what you put in front of it, it's going to bury it.
Yeah.
And it's built for speed. It's built to make the ground black. I mean, it's a durable tool that's just, like I've always said with the Salford brand, it's built for the military. So, I mean, guys are in love with that tool. It's our leading tool in the company right now, the 5200 this last year. Wow. So, I mean, it's really caught on.
Well, I mean, I think we can vouch for that too. I mean, we've probably sold probably 4 of them here in the last 6 months, probably.
Yeah, Ohio was, dragging behind a little bit. Well, my territory in general, but it started in, heavy corn country, up in the Midwest, upper Midwest. And now it's starting to leach over this way, and it's gaining some traction for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there are other competitors that can destroy, but they've got 30 inches of shank hanging below the blades, and you're bringing up. I had a farmer tell me one time he got rid of his chisel, and they actually went to a Salford, and he told me he got tired of bringing up soil that wasn't designed to be sitting next to a seed. And that's so true. You gotta mix and flip and bury this residue, but there's certain components. Just because you can dig 3 feet deep with a tool doesn't mean you should.
Correct.
And so that's what I think makes the 52, like you said, is that you can do all that without disturbing, your complete soil profile.
Right.
So
you're working the key 6 inches of the topsoil that you need to incorporate all of that residue.
Yeah.
And then you're basically just putting the residue in that soil profile, and all the nutrients that the residue releases is there for the next year for your bean crop, or
Right.
Or your corn crop, depending on what you're planting back into it.
Yep.
A lot of guys that are doing corn on corn, I know they're using that 5200 quite a bit just to try to get that residue broke down a little bit faster.
yeah, I'm still, I have a lot of guys, since we're pushing VRTs hard, they kind of wonder, what about the 12 and 22? And I tell them, man, that tool's not going anywhere.
No.
It's hard to replicate or mimic what that tool can do for you. Just before we start recording, we were laying eyes on a 31 footer we've got in the shop with a seeder that's going to go on it. And, those tools are hard to beat to plant behind. They're not going anywhere. We're still seeing plenty of heat in that market.
Oh, that's still in my territory. I mean, the VRT is starting to dip into, I shouldn't say, it's not dipping into that market. It's
Right.
just growing a whole new market. But the 12 and 2200s in my territory and is still number one. And there's not a tool on the market that'll leave a seed bed for your planter like those tools will do.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've proved it over and over. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen it, your videos, hear it all the time at the farm shows. Guys that went away from them, they come back to them because their planter is not running near as smooth.
Even guys that are running 570s.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, guys that got rid of their 570s back in the day because they didn't move enough dirt for them, and so that's what they get out of this 5-inch spacing tool. We talk about the VRT, maybe replacing a couple of those, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think you can get close to it, but it's still not a 22 or a 1200 finish.
No.
Yeah.
But guys just looking at where the VRT fits is just the versatility and being able to change and adapt to conditions. Conditions change so much, and residue. I mean, I look at this residue today. I was in a field yesterday over in Indiana, shelling 22 moisture corn, and the stalks are green.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of this stuff, these guys, we talk about, building these tools to be able to handle that. And yeah, you can, but if you want to do a little bit better job, let those sit. Get a rain on them.
Yeah.
And then you come back in, it's amazing how much better they break down.
Yeah, I mean, just letting them sit for a week or two if you can. I mean, getting some rain on them, helping the rain break them down a little bit. Yeah. It really helps them
dry up a little bit. I mean,
for sure. And that's what I always tell guys too. Like with the VRT, it's a completely different tool comparatively across the board as far as everything else that's out there. I always describe it as like the Swiss Army knife. Yep. It's the Swiss Army knife of a tillage tool.
Absolutely.
You can do so many different things with it. If you're looking to replace a couple of tools, well, yeah, that's the tool for you. But if you're looking to replace just your disc chisel, well, then we need to be looking at a 5200. And just trying to qualify those guys, I think, is tough because you'll have a guy that comes up to you and says, "Oh, I want a VRT." And I go, "Okay, well, what are you doing?" And so just trying to get a little bit more familiar with the customer and trying to qualify them as far as what they're looking for out of a tool is what I really look for whenever I'm, trying to decide on what tool they want for their farm.
Right.
Because, if you sell the wrong tool to a guy, he's going to be pretty upset with you. Well, you told me to do this. Well, I mean, it does do
just
this.
Don't call Cody and you'll be fine.
That's a good point.
But what I wanted to hit on is the 1200. Go back to that. You want to talk about return on investment. I have talked to more and more guys this fall already that are using that combination, either a Valmar on a Great Plains or whatever, to seed their wheat. I'm telling you, I'm seeing more and more of it. So you want to talk about, well, how can I justify a 31-foot 1200 for $155,000? Well, drills are pretty hot right now. Go take that 30-foot Great Plains or Landall drill and sell that sucker. And that tool right there will do everything that drill ever did.
And better, you're going to manage residue at the same time.
Yes. And, a lot of guys are getting over to planting their beans with a planter, which is a huge step. And then now they only have that drill laying around for waterways and cover crops and wheat.
Right.
Ditch it while the market's good on drills. And invest that money into a long-term solution of a Salford.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it left and right.
The only thing that I think is holding guys back is not having a big enough tank.
I don't think that's the only thing. There's a lot of things.
I think that's a big one, though.
Yeah.
Like the capacity-wise, as far as being able to hold enough, because you're looking at running across the field twice, putting on 70 pounds per acre. Whenever we did it, it's a lot different because we only had 55 acres to do, which granted it felt like we were farming 150, but at the same time, think about somebody that's got 300 acres of wheat to put in. That's a lot of time that you're going to be spending in that machine. Granted, they're probably doing it all across the 30-foot tool versus a 20-foot tool.
Right. How fast do you usually drive a drill?
About 6.
You might break some of them at 6. More like 5. How fast do we seed with a Salford?
We can go 8.
Oh, at least. 8 to 11.
Yeah.
So you're not losing efficiency.
No.
You're not losing any efficiency. So.
And there's an ST10 Pathfinder you can hook right behind it as well if you want capacity. And there is some large acre guys doing that.
Yeah.
1,000 or 2,000 acres of wheat. In my territory, they're doing that.
Yeah. Remington Seeds over there. I don't know that they're actually doing wheat with it, but they're pulling that ST behind their Salford to seed cover crops and various stuff behind the seed corn.
Yeah, so it is a little bit larger investment, but it just depends, how you're going to use it, and if you're going to use it for some fertilizer application as well, with a toolbar or something, it's another great way to have more capacity for getting your wheat out.
Right. I wanted to talk about maybe go back to that guy that you met at Farm Progress, and I want to talk about how important the demos are. A lot of people don't understand the time investment, the effort, and the dollar investment that it takes, but it's absolutely necessary. So walk us through what you had a conversation with him at Farm Progress.
So it was, just started talking with this gentleman from northern Indiana, and just started asking him questions and what do you want to do, and he's, if I remember correctly, does a lot of seed corn.
Yep.
Under pivots.
Yep.
So he's got some pretty radical, residue he's dealing with each year, and the biggest thing was trying something, because he's had so many tools that he's purchased over the years that they're just not doing what he needs done.
Yeah.
And so we went through that, and we figured, that's when I called you and said, hey, this guy, he'd be a good candidate for a VRT, because he wasn't, he wanted to be able to use it for more than just primary tillage. We were talking 5,200 at first.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, this is what. So we walked over to the VRT at the Farm Progress, and he's like, you know what, that looks like it'll work, because some of this ground I need a second pass on, or come back in the spring. This is going to be my one pass tool.
Yep.
And then, but he's like, I got to do a demo. I didn't have anybody close to him, and I told him, I said, well, I'm going to have you talk to Fennec Equipment. I think he thought I was full of it. Mm-hmm. He didn't think he was going to get a demo.
Oh, he did not think he was going to get a demo.
But I think, did I have him call you, or did I have you call him?
I don't know. I just remember a conversation.
Yeah,
I don't remember who called who.
So, I have so much confidence in this dealership here. So when I have a situation like this, I'm like, these guys will bring you a demo. If I it's one thing if I call your dad,
Yep.
need to take a machine to Alaska, he'd get it there for me.
He'd put it on the boat.
He would.
I was going to say Timbuktu.
Yeah, but he would. So that's the beauty of having you guys on board with me, because it fills those gaps where maybe I don't have a dealer that's capable or a dealer that, in that area. So you got that demo up there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Got it staged, I think, before harvest. And then he got some crop off, and I guess you can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, so we took it up ahead of time, which I love doing on demos. I think that's just the right way to do it. Get it up there ahead of time, let them hook it to their tractor, let them lay eyes on it, and it'll do a lot of things. A big thing it'll do that I've seen is it will develop a lot of educated questions from the farmer. Hey, I was hooking this up and I was wondering what this does, or what this is, and you get to walk through and answer those questions before you even fire it up, rather than just, here's the demo, hurry up, I'm in a time crunch, I need to get home.
Go to the next one, yeah.
And I love doing it that way. But anyways, I get there and he says, all right, follow me, we'll head down to the field. And they were actually in the neighboring field harvesting seed corn. So they had just finished this field. And we pull up, we turn left into that field, and I look out and I'm thinking, oh no. Oh no.
Pretty tough and green.
It was tough. And I'm telling you, last fall, Kevin and I went on a demoing party and just paraded this thing around it everywhere. And I put it through some nasty stuff. And I thought, here we go. This is going to be the one field that I can't live up to everything I've said about this tool. I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, let's start. The only way out is through, right?
Yep.
So we start digging in and making some passes and adjusting. And so when they harvest the seed corn, they're leaving probably 2.5, 3 feet of stalk. Mm-hmm. It's green, literally moisture oozing out of the stalk. But on top of that, they had a bunch of grass in this field for some reason. And I am talking grass, like as tall as these stalks that are left.
Wow.
Like a lot of times you didn't know where you were driving. Like it was that thick and heavy. And he was very well aware of how tough this stuff was.
It's amazing how they find their toughest field for a demo.
Right. Let's go back to the briar patch. Mm-hmm. But we're running it, and we finally get it dialed into where it's as close. It's close. It's doing a very, very good job. But we got to keep in mind here, he's seeding wheat into this. Okay. So we're not just going in and tearing it up. If it was let's do a stale seed bed for beans next spring, we would have tackled it pretty quickly. But like, hey, I'm running a drill through here in 3 days. You got to be pretty comfortable with that, right?
You were like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So finally, we finally convince each other that, look, this is a 2-pass field. Mm-hmm. This isn't a 2-pass tool. This is a 2-pass field. Mm-hmm. And so I told him, I said, let's hit this field one time, and I want you to let it sit. And he's like, well, they plant seed wheat. Oh. So they didn't even have their wheat seed yet. And I didn't know this at the time. He's like, hey, well, I'm not even going to get my wheat seed for like 2 weeks. And I said, perfect. Hit it once, and I'm going to come back in 2 weeks when you're ready to run it again, when you're ready to plant, and I will help you make sure we're getting a good finishing touch on this. He calls me, hey, I got my wheat seed. We're dry enough. I think I'm going to run. I drive up there, and we run it, and it's amazing. You were talking about letting those stalks sit. It was amazing. Yeah. Night and day. There was no moisture in those stalks. They were blowing apart. And even he couldn't believe it. And we smoked that field off for a second pass at a slight angle against what we were going. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Well, I remember
right into there.
I remember I called you, and you were like just pulling into the field, and I was like, how'd that demo go? Well, I haven't gotten there yet. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, how heavy is this residue? And you were like, oh, it's burly. Yeah. And I'm like, oh.
And all of that's great, but the real success at the end of the day, they own that 20-foot VRT.
Yep.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I don't know of too many demos that you've taken a VRT to and brought it home.
Right.
I I don't know what year your dad started the company, but I was right with him about that time. And that's how this company has grown, is demos. And demos turn into retails here. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a very high percentage.
Yeah.
You know, you're not selling out of a catalog. You're out there proving what the tool does. You're burning a lot of fuel doing it.
Yep.
But it's paying, and it gets the word out. I mean, you can convince a guy, you know, hey, this is what you were looking for.
Right.
All right, what do you want to do?
Yep.
You know, so the demo for you guys is key. Not only and you have the inventory to do that. It's like today you're going to have to take, you know, we just got some new VRTs off the truck yesterday. One's leaving this morning for a demo. Probably won't come home. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
Between the 3 places that it needs to go, I bet it will not come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are so fun to do.
Oh, yeah.
They are so fun because, you know, it sets yourself so far apart. You know, there's a couple things, you know, in our business, there's competition. There's a couple things you can do where there will not be any competition.
Yeah.
Cody and I are going on a road trip today to go visit customers. I would bet everything that we will not have to wait in line for another salesman to leave to talk to a farmer today.
No.
Yeah.
Okay? Guaranteed. So there's no competition today to get on these farms that we're going on today. Number 2, when you go out and do a demo, 9 times out of 10, you ain't going to run into another dealer doing a demo.
No.
Period.
The big thing that I love about demos is I feel like a kid again in the sandbox playing with the toys. Well, this is just an upgraded scale of it to where you're just in the field and you're...
Bless you, Dave.
And,
Thanks. Wow.
And you're basically just taking the bigger version, the full scale tool, and doing it out in the field in your big sandbox. I mean, it's so much fun.
I honestly, demos for me have made it to where I don't even like talking about VRTs on the phone or even tillage tools. Like, well, what does it do here? And I'm like, I start to talk and I'm like, you know, honestly, it doesn't matter what I say. And what I say doesn't mean it's painting the same picture in your head that it is for me.
Yep.
I said, I just tell them, I don't know. Just let me show you.
Exactly.
Give me a week or however long, you know, and you tell me if that works.
Well, and and especially, I know we're talking on the VRT a lot, but it's the one tool. I've been in the tillage business for 20 plus years. This is the one tool that you cannot oversell. You know, there's tools out there. There's guys saying, oh, to do this, it'll do this, and it won't. This is a tool that you can go out and sell with conviction.
Yeah.
You cannot oversell it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fun.
Yep.
So you're out there you have confidence right from the get-go. When you put the hitch pin in, you know it's going to work.
Well, on top of that, too, I mean, we've sold a 40-footer and a 35-footer in the last 6 months, and never in my wildest dreams would have I ever thought that we would have done that.
Yeah.
As quick as we did.
Well, the one Achilles heel or one thing you really got to watch, not necessarily overselling, you just got to make sure your horsepower
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Correct.
You want to be able to pull it.
Yep, that's the only thing. And
Yeah.
if
It's not built to pull slow.
Yep, if you match the tractor and the tool up, you're going to have a good demo.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, the optimum speed on those things is anywhere from 10 to 12 mile an hour. And I like to see it on the higher side of that 12 mile an hour, because that thing just really, really shines, because you're just throwing that dirt further and it just helps shatter it.
It's the shatter is the big thing.
In the mix. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, Cody and I talked on a previous podcast about the video that I did with the 2680 and stuff, showing side by side. So we won't talk about that one a whole lot again, but that was a textbook demo. I mean, you know, when I went out there, I thought that was going to, I also thought that field was going to be a Achilles heel for that tool. He told me how hard it was, and, you know, okay, yeah, you know, I've been to 100 of those. This is the hardest field in the state, you know, and I'm telling you, this one they weren't lying. You know, it was a wheat field that had been cut and then hauled manure on and then just burn off all the weeds. So that sun was baking that bare soil all fall, and it was rock hard, so hard. And it was, we had to make some modifications to get that thing to go deep enough. But whenever we did, it was over. It was over. And I was even a little surprised that we could take that field that was literally concrete, and we made that thing baby.
Well, and I'll tell you what, one thing I noticed first thing I do normally when I pull in here, park my truck, and I go walk around the lot, see what you got, new, used, whatever. And you park that 2680 next to a VRT.
Yeah.
Deal's done.
Yeah.
I mean, that is twice the tool as that 2680.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, you can just tell by looking at the two that, man, this VRT is built and it's gonna do the job.
It is. They're built so heavy, and so reliable.
I like the analogy that Dave said earlier. You know, they're built for the military,
Right.
and they are. They're built like tanks.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I've had some people say that they can maybe be complicated to run or confusing. Well, someday I'm going to interview this guy and get him on the podcast or something. He's 79 years old. Kent Thornburg, 79 years old, farming I don't know how many acres, maybe 1,500. He bought a VRT from me, a 25-footer. Loves it.
Wow.
79 years old. I rode with him to get that thing running. He said, Adam, how's it look back there? I got my neck's a little stiff. I can't turn back and look at it all the time. He said, I can see it in the mirror. He said, it looks good to me. I said, yeah, it looks pretty good. And we got out and felt it. And he walked on that ground. He says, my land, this is like walking on a pillow.
Really?
He had never experienced that. We were working bean ground.
Yeah.
He had spread litter in it. And he could not believe what that tool was doing. So they're not hard to run.
No.
You got to get used to it. And they will even surprise some of the farmers that have seen it all.
Well, look at that. An old timer, they know a hell of a lot more than we know about soil by walking on it.
Yeah.
And for him to say that,
Yeah.
that's a great sales tool. I mean, he's been walking on soil for how many years?
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely fun.
But yeah, if he can run it,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, it's not difficult.
Right.
I mean, it might be difficult for a guy like Cody.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't let him go.
It
on
was
demos.
challenging to get the right coffee today. Hell, mine has cream in it. I
Right.
don't know how that happened.
you guys better watch it.
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to sell anything, you assholes.
Right. So let's switch over to BBIs. Slinging fertilizer. It's that time of year. So when are we going to see the twin bin spreader?
It's coming.
It's coming. I had a guy hit me up on it yesterday.
Been getting a lot of that this last year or two, especially with the inputs the way they are, and it's there's something being worked on.
Why do you think there is such a push for a twin bin instead of blending it?
Well, because if you blend it, you're locked into that blend. Like the guy I was talking to yesterday, he picked up a new farm, and there's 2 nutrients that across that farm, they might go, well, you need 70 pounds here of this, and then you need 10 pounds, and then you need 120. And so if you do a blend, you can do variable rate, but that's not really worth much if you're variable rating and over applying.
Right.
So if you can do a twin bin, a lot of times you'll put P and K in there.
Right.
You can, not only variable rate per acre, but variable rate each mixture.
Per product, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously blending is easy. That's what guys do today. But if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty and do some
We can control every penny that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're already taking control of your spreader costs. Now you can take control of your input costs at the same time.
When corn was $7 and nitrogen, was
Was
cheap,
cheap.
guys didn't really worry about that as much.
Right.
But today they have to.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, the multi, dual product or multi-product has become, we have it on our air booms.
Yeah.
That's a product that, whether it's a chassis mount or pull type, that's something, we've sold a few pull type air booms through here.
Yep.
And doing
Couple of 87
multi-product, so I mean, that's something as well. But yeah, in the spinner market, we had something, wasn't ideal.
Right.
So I mean, it's it worked, but we're gonna have something a lot better.
Yeah, that's good. I'm excited. That is going to be the VRT of spreaders.
Oh, for sure.
I can't wait.
But I was only here for a couple hours yesterday at the end of the day, and there was a couple spreaders left here. You guys sold some spreaders last week, so
Yep.
that's great to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that time of year. And, guys are probably 80% through beans collectively, starting to creep into corn. And I think as that corn number starts to fall, that stuff's going to pick up, because then they'll start to have time.
Yeah, if the
for
weather
this.
stays, and it looks like it's gonna, and I seen some piles of lime, guys are gonna need to get spread. And
Yep.
Piles of lime, turkey litter, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, chicken litter, all of that stuff.
Yep.
For sure.
I tell you what, I don't know if Steve listens to this podcast, but Steve's helped me out a lot in the last week or so on
Steve's
some
real
spreaders.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 30 years of knowledge with the BBI product line, and there is not a situation that he will not get you out of.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's somebody we need to get on this thing too.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, see, the correct way to do that is he says he lives by a lake that's got a lot of bass in it.
Yeah.
We just go down to Georgia. We have him take us fishing.
Yep.
Maybe go a little deer hunting. Go to the BBI factory. We'll bring a trailer with us.
Lee lives on the water, it's close to the water too.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to go check out the fish he has.
Yeah.
Yep. He's got a boat. I know right where Lee's at in Darien. And just make a trip of it. And we
Don't leave Tanner out. He was up here helping you
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Richard.
He's big time hunter.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
you need a couple weeks, I think, to do this podcast.
We might. Yeah, we'll have to run that by Dad today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just tell him we're leaving on sales calls, and when we come back, we come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
True.
worry, he'll call our
Yeah.
phones.
Oh yeah. He'll
multiple
call
times.
us. Yep. Hey, where you at?
Yeah. But
What are you doing?
yeah, Steve, I had a couple situations with a customer last week on a Magna spread. Sent a guy out there, and Steve was in our hip pocket the entire time. It's so nice to have someone with that amount of experience just a phone call away. We carry a lot of different products, and there's some of them that I need to order parts. You can't even get parts ordered in 2 days. It is unbelievable. I don't know how they're in business, and they won't be in business with us anyways. They need to get the axe here.
That's one great thing about Salford. We have a lot of people that have been in this business a long time.
Yeah.
They understand your needs at the dealership, and that's why I like getting people out to the dealership level.
Yeah.
From the factories.
Yes.
And customer service and things like that, because it really helps the process when you do call in as a dealer with a need, because they understand how important it is.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of good people, and to have that, especially with the application side of things, because you know how critical that is.
Yeah. The thing that I love about it too is that, you talk to these guys, once every other week, or, you have a phone call conversations with them for 2 years and you've never met them. And then you finally meet them, and it's like good to put a name to the face, this and that. And you get to talk about things other than just work.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of build that relationship with them. And
It's relation. This whole business we're in is relationship based, and
Yeah.
through this whole COVID thing, I'll be honest with you, our team, the outside sales guys, we made it up to Canada this summer for the first time in 3 years. And you get frustrated at times talking to people on the phone or emailing, and you don't know how to take somebody. Well, we went up there and spent a week with our whole inside sales group and factory guys and engineers, and it's amazing when you deal with people face to face, how all of a sudden from then on, when you need something, things change.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
and I'm even guilty of it. I mean, I treat them differently. It feels like when they call me and need something or have a question. We're all working together on the same, end result. And but for them to see what we go through and understand is the biggest thing. And but no, I mean, it's the relationships that we built in this company. You guys call anybody in our company, and they're willing to help. They want to help. They know how aggressive you are as a dealer.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, so spreaders are starting to roll. I'm itching to go do some pan testing. I'm itching to get some of these things out in the field, and
that's probably one of my favorite things to do is do a pan test on a spreader.
Yep, they're fun. A lot of guys have never seen one done. You get out all them pans, line them up. They're like, "What in the sorcery are we doing here?"
Well, there is brands of spreaders out there. They don't want you to pan test.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the majority of them they don't know. Yeah, but so yeah, it's been great. Obviously this time of year service calls are rampant. I've taken a lot on Valmars and BBIs, and having the backup there to be able to call and get these guys tackled and keep them running. It's good. It's really good. So we're going to get close to wrapping up here. Dave, we got some questions to ask. We listen to a coyote hunting podcast, and at the end they always ask like 3 rapid fire questions.
Oh boy.
And I don't have them drawn up as well as they do. But let's walk through what would you consider a success in what you do. You're at the level of you need dealers to succeed and you need farmers to succeed. So what for you is that thing where you're like, yes, is it you go to a dealer and you get 10 orders, or what? Describe a big success, like something that you're going to call or tell Lee about,
Not so much the orders. It used to, when I was a little more narrow-minded, I think, if that makes sense. But to me, when one of you guys call me and tell me you sold something, or you call me and, hey, this guy we sold to last fall, we were on his farm, he just called me today to tell me how great this tool is. To me, that gets me excited. When my dealer sales guy sells something to help him provide for not only the dealership but for his family, and to me that's the most satisfying phone call to get. Getting 10 orders, it's cool, but until you as the dealer sell them, it's not a done deal.
You still worry about it in your head.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I have inventory on the ground, I want you to sell it so we can reorder. But you sell something out here, you're paying bills. You're feeding the family. So that to me is what's rewarding day in and day out.
Okay. So Dave, you've got a 1,000-acre farm, and you already have a combine and some of the bigger infrastructure stuff, but you can only pick 3 things off of our lot to farm that 1,000 acres with. What are you grabbing? Off of our lot, not just Salford products, but off of our lot to farm 1,000 acres.
Me, myself personally, I would probably go, that's a tough one.
It's supposed to be.
I want to say VRT.
Well,
but then I want to say 2200 with Shanks.
Yeah, but you got to pick, or you could have both, but then you're just down to one more tool.
I'm gonna have a BBI spreader.
A BBI spreader, and then what?
I'm gonna have a VRT.
Okay.
With a cedar on it.
Okay, so that's 2.
That's all I need. I don't need 3.
Well, herbicide, you're just gonna hire the co-op for those 1,000 acres.
Oh, well, I guess I could buy a sprayer from you.
Hardy sprayer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. So a Hardy sprayer, VRT with a cedar, and a BBI spreader.
Yeah. What BBI spreader are you going to take?
Oh, definitely a Magna Plus.
The 20-footer or?
No.
12.
Probably 12.
12 high clearance.
I'll definitely side dress my corn 120 feet.
That right there. That's the money lineup right there. That's a good lineup.
See, we did this last week. I said VRT with a cedar sprayer, and then I said Grasshopper HDR.
Well, yeah, exactly. That would
Just simply for the fact we narrowed it down to 1,000 acres, and I just told Adam I didn't know if I could justify having the Magna Spread Plus.
I told him Bex was paying for it, so.
there you go.
It's not part of the Beck's program,
But the
It can be.
it can be, yeah.
yeah, that's a sweet lineup right there.
Yeah.
Because you've got control of your application both on the sprayer side and your nutrition side, and then the VRT with a cedar to do pretty much everything you ever needed.
Yep.
Yeah, that would definitely work on my 1,000 acres. I can tell you that if I had that. But speaking of that, I came up with a new idea last night. I
Oh
wanna,
my gosh,
I
here
know.
we
No,
go.
wait. That was you gave me 2 questions. This is the third
It's
one.
not over.
Oh, okay.
It's not over. I want to desiccate my soybeans this week. I'm gonna spray them and kill them.
Are you?
I think I might.
The double crops.
Yep. I'm tired of waiting on them. I want to get my wheat planted. I want to get manure
Ooh, yeah.
hauled. I'm tired of waiting.
You gonna spray it?
I'm not. No.
Co-op.
They've already got their 100-foot tram lines in there.
Gotcha.
And these overcast days,
Yeah.
they're turning, but I'm
It's
3 weeks
slow.
out.
Oh yeah.
And
You're too late for your wheat.
We need to get them beans off before rut.
Well, I'm not even worried about it. It's a slew of problems. I want to get the beans off. I want to get the manure hauled and the wheat planted, because what happens in 3 weeks when they're finally maybe ready?
Yeah.
And it turned off wet. You're not drying in early November, late November.
How
mid-November.
long, if they spray today, how long before you can cut, you think?
So I would use Sharpen. Sharpen has got a 3-day wait period from residual to where you cannot harvest. But it would take about 5 days.
Okay.
So if we sprayed today, in 5 days we could harvest.
So are you going to do the same with the sunflowers then too?
The sunflowers are not mature enough to kill them right now.
Gotcha.
I went by the sunflower field last night. And
Yeah.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah, they look
It's a
all right.
nice, consistent stand. And
Yeah, they're not Tony Grody sunflowers.
No.
No,
No,
those things are.
He's got heads of sunflowers the size of dinner plates.
Really?
Oh yeah.
He's got some nice ones.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I'm gonna try it again because I'm gonna keep that plan, keep that rotation. We're gonna have a field day there at the same field again. We're gonna do sunflowers in there again, beans everywhere else, just to keep that rotation.
Right.
So, speaking of field days, we're gonna have a fall one here yet, right?
I'm hoping so.
The day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, I think we're going to attempt to anyway.
Okay.
So
that's another reason why I want to get this stuff off, because we can have it there.
Yeah.
Or in the sunflower field.
You're going to make me work the day after Thanksgiving.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
I might as well just come out for Thanksgiving then.
Yeah.
yeah. You can have turkey. See Uncle Randy.
Oh, boy.
So, all right, Dave. So you've got 3 trips that you can do. You can either go Lake Erie walleye fishing again. You can you can go deer hunting with Cody and I gun season, or you can go striper fishing with Steve Owensby in Georgia. Which one are you going on?
Who's going with me?
Well, you're not going anywhere without me and Cody.
Yeah.
Then we're going to see Steve.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to keep that in mind.
But if you guys weren't going, I'll do the deer hunting thing. We haven't done that yet together.
Yeah.
The walleye thing is it's pretty cool, but I'm going to pick the conditions I go out in next time.
We can't though.
But no, I can stay at
Yeah.
the house
Yeah.
and gather up all your stuff when you don't get back soon enough because the cleaning lady's there.
Well, I never would have dreamed it would have taken us 5 hours to catch our limit.
And that's the thing. Each time we've ever went, we've literally been in and out of there within like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Every time. And this time was a little different. Well,
We bring Lee and Dave, and it takes us 5 hours.
Yeah.
And
But I'm
Yeah.
offended because last Friday I opened up Snapchat and I caught the limit on my walleye. I opened up a Snapchat last week, and there's a fish fry out here. I haven't even had any of that fish yet. I knew I shouldn't have sent it home with you.
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry, we've got another bag.
I'm dying to try it.
We do.
Well, see, you should have called. Maybe we would have had fish.
Well, I'll have to call ahead next time.
Yeah, see.
All right, I think that's all I've got. Cody and I have got things to do, and I'm sure Dave does as well.
Good luck today, guys.
Yep. Thanks everyone for listening. This was a fun podcast, and stay tuned for the next one. So thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yep. Thank
See
you.
ya.